Hey guys, I wanted to give you a quick look at Gutenberg, at least in its current incarnation. It's not actually a part of WordPress per se. Had to install a plugin to get it. If you want that plugin, go to the WordPress plugin repository and look for Gutenberg. Make sure that you get the one from WordPress and not somebody else's plugin. There's not going to be another Gutenberg plugin, but there were several other plugins that came up when I searched. So make sure you have the plugin that is actually named Gutenberg. So what the difference is in Gutenberg is the editing experience. This is a drag and drop editor. It's still got some bugs. I actually just updated the plugin today, installed it a couple of days ago, and I mean these guys are working on it and releasing updates all the time. So, and with that update, I got better drag and drop capability. Now you see everything I hover over, I've got options here. If you use Squarespace, this is a lot like Squarespace. So initially, when I started editing this, and this is a post that I started just kind of randomly creating to have something to work with. It was actually created in Gutenberg. So, you know, by default, I'm getting all of these options. But initially, this morning, I could just move these up or down. And now you can actually take blocks. And it's still a bit finicky, but you can take blocks and drag them. We've got to have just the right hand cursor. Now it thinks I want to upload the image, but yes, you really can drag and drop this. You're going to get a blue line showing you where it's going to go, and there you go. When you select something, if you've got the tools showing, you have different options over here. Text is something that some of you are going to get super excited about. Well, let's go here and do the, let's do this as like intro text or something. So we never had these in the regular WordPress editor, and you can get all fancy and make it look like a book with your drop caps, or you can do a custom size for your intro text, make it bigger, which I think we wouldn't want to do like under this first heading. That would look kind of dorky, but anyway, you can do it if you want. And then you see all of these other options underneath here for background color, text color, block alignment. You got to be careful about doing this, because if you start changing things, you've got to remember that in order to be consistent and not have all kinds of craziness that distracts people from your message on your blog or your website, you need to stick to the same style so it will have a cohesive look. Now that said, one thing that I think is really cool about having these options is, let's say you wanted to do something like you know, a promo in the middle of you know, one of your blog posts or pages, and you wanted to be consistent about that. Well, let's see, I'm gonna just pretend this is another paragraph, and we're gonna put this promo here. And obviously you're going to do something brilliant with this, and not just this, but so I can give it a background color. Let's not get too obnoxious, maybe a blue. And I can change the text color. This is nice that they're warning us about usability. We don't want to make anything terrible for people to read. Click here, I can pick my own color, and I happen to know that white is all F's, 6 of them. I can change the text size to large. And then what I can do here to make sure that I'm consistent about this promo is I can convert this to a shared block. And what happens there, and I'll just name it my awesome promo, whatever. I'm going to save that. And so if I want to reuse this on another page, I'm not going to click over there. We'll just reuse it on this page, right? Click this, go to shared, my awesome promo, and boom, it's there. Now let's see, if I edit this, let's see if it saves it for both of them. Oops, and it did. And I've got a typo. So that's actually kind of good. You're not going to be able to customize it every time. But what you can do is you can convert it back to a regular block. So you've got, it's editable, and we can just do something different here. And it, it's still retaining all the styling, right? This is a different promo. And convert that to a shared block, and let's name it promo 2. Well, I hope you'll name it something more something more descriptive so you'll know what it is. And now that's going to be available. And let's just delete it. Yeah, we're going to delete it. Yeah, we're going to delete it. So I mentioned that this post was created in Gutenberg. So it's Gutenberg from the ground up. Let's go over to my post list, and I'll show you one that was not created in Gutenberg. And I don't know how much of this is going to change between now and, the difference between we have the plug-in versus it's built in. But one of the things that you can do is you can convert a post to the Gutenberg block. So right now, let's take a look and see what this is as far as HTML. So this is correct. It's got paragraphs. It's styled correctly. Go back to the visual editor. Let's convert this to blocks. And then look what happens to my images. They're gone. And I thought that this might be because they were in a list. And I think that does have something to do with it. It's just not looking at them correctly. But I converted another post that had images that weren't in a list. And it just seems like if it's anything the slightest bit complex, I don't even want to call it complex, if it's not an image that is, by itself outside of a list or a gallery, it wiped out the gallery in another post that I converted, but the image that's by itself on a line, it was fine. So I'm not sure that I would go through and convert posts that had not been created in Gutenberg if they had images, which most of our posts do. I think I might use it going forward. And for me, I'm more of a coder, and I prefer I prefer a lot about the regular WordPress editor. So I'm kind of on the fence about this, but I know a lot of people will like it. My other concern is how fast are our pages going to load with this editor? So I don't know. But that's a first look at me playing around with Gutenberg on my local machine with a site that, well, it's running Genesis now. And the Gutenberg plugin. This came over from a WordPress.com export. Did not export the whole site because that's really not an option there. I can't get at the back end doing that. Did try a Gutenberg theme, the Gutenberg starter theme from WordPress. You can find that in the theme repository, I think, or maybe it's, actually I shouldn't say that. It may not be in the repository, but it's out there on the GitHub site if you want to try that. But at least in its current incarnation, it's not doing anything for me one way or another that I can see from just using the Genesis theme with the Gutenberg plugin. So give me a shout if you've got questions. Leave them in the comments.